Okay, we're live. I clicked the live button. Guys,
Oh shit.
hello. OPOOM. Fuck, I don't have the energy for this. Patrick, you intro us.
I'm sick. Hello and welcome. We're reading One Piece. I'm typing out a tweet real quick.
That's fine.
Um
So yeah,
uh
Patrick's sick. I'm hungover. One hell of a stream last night. Definitely highly recommend going back, checking that one out. Anyway, guys, today, OPOOM, chapter 1099 is dropped for One Piece. We're going to live read the chapter a little late in the
shit.
day here because Patrick was busy on an airplane this morning starting the next global shutdown.
I was.
Yep. But anyway, 1099's out. We're going to read that, give you our immediate thoughts and reactions while we read it, get into some wider discussion at the end of it here. Oh, Black Betty, bam a lamb.
Bam blam. Whoa. I need a link. Hold on. We're almost ready, chat. Don't worry. Copy.
I was born ready. Oh,
I
Black
was
Betty, bam a lamb.
Oh.
Black Betty,
Oh.
bam a lamb.
I pressed buttons I shouldn't have.
Oh, buttons, bam a lamb.
Okay. And Austin will get mad at me if I don't post on our YouTube as well.
Austin hurts us when we don't do good.
He's like, "You have failed me. Time for more lashings." Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Yep, and then he takes our eyelashes.
Yeah,
It doesn't
one
make
by
sense
one.
because he says more lashings, but then he has us have less lashes. He's not very good at the abuse part, but my God, is he, consistent with it?
The heart's there. Like he's trying.
Like, yeah. No, I appreciate his effort in our verbal and physical abuse, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
can't we all just get along?
Can we just be friends?
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? That's a good song. Guys, let's read the chapter.
Let's read it. All right, One Piece, chapter 1099. I'm a little stuffy, so ignore that. Pacifist. Also, if you hear a bunch of wind outside, that's because there's a bunch of wind outside. All right, reader
Keep it out there.
request.
Don't let him in.
Don't let him in. He's gonna take your money. Raccoon dogs fixing up Odin's hair by matching Takashi, and that's a cute little doodle. They're fixing up his hair. That's cute.
It's
I don't have
cute.
anything to add here.
I like that
Shout,
raccoon dog has a sword.
shout out to Wano just ending in the anime. Anyway, okay. First panel, we're back in the flashback, and look, we're in the Sorbet Kingdom, and they're saying, "You've done enough, Kuma. There's no saving the rest. Come back. You're only going to lose your own life." Kuma-chi. So we see the king of the Sorbet Kingdom. Far to the east, another kingdom uses strategy successfully. The celestial dragons praise their beautiful city for being cleansed of all filth. Oh, that's
Yeah,
Goa.
that's the
There you
Go
go.
Kingdom. I was gonna say like, where's that gonna be? And then it clicked.
I was like thinking about it as I was reading. I'm like, what's in the east?
Cool.
In order to bring about great bliss and prosperity, a wise king must sometimes steel his heart and enact cruel reforms. King Bakori, the people are mounting furious resistance. Step down at once, murderer, put out the fires in the south. And the king's just like, kill a handful of them and be rewarded. And you see them shoot, and the people are screaming, "Who dares defy the king's edict? Step forward." Who's that? Stop now or be executed. You just see Kuma just rushing through the flames, and he's angry.
See, I
He's
I
got that
love
fire.
the one more connection we're getting between Kuma and Luffy here. Like both of their
Yeah.
kingdoms, home bases, whatever, burnt to the ground by the celestial dragon. So just a great another parallel between the hands of liberation and the drums of liberation.
Well, it was burned down by royalty for the celestial dragons.
That's
It
what I
wasn't.
meant. You, God, I'm
No, I'm
so
nitpicky.
stop picking my
Anyway,
nits.
I can't help it. They're so tasty. Om nom nom. Turning the page. At Kuma's church. Hurry, treat the wounded. Stay inside, Bonnie. You don't want to be in the moonlight. Okay. I hope he's safe. Dad's always such a chicken. Stop right there. And we're back with Kuma. You know what'll happen if you strike the king. You'll pay dearly for this, you country bumpkin preacher. You just see a giant Ursa shock just around the entire castle of Sorbet Kingdom.
I love the insult of country bumpkin preacher, but we know just Kuma to be so much more and bigger and better than that. I love
Right, but
the
like,
contradiction with Bonnie saying like he's always such a chicken, but again, we know Kuma isn't a chicken; he's just gentle.
yeah. But in the king's defense, he would only know Kuma as that, right? Like he's been a
Right.
preacher
Yeah. No. I
in
mean,
the
he's not
country.
lying.
Yeah,
It's just ironic.
yeah. This incident would be known as the Solo Revolution of Sorbet Kingdom. Sacred Mary Joa and we're at Pangaea Castle. I hear there's a new king in Sorbet. Strange. Who is it? We see Jay Garcia Saturn here.
Ooh.
Unable to resist the pleas of the people, Kuma became the king of the realm living out of his old church. You just see people just cheering for him. King Kumachi, just a bunch of chants. My back hurts. I don't know who's. Oh, it's probably the old people. Anyway,
Hmm.
I, I think you can stop teasing me now. This is Kuma saying this. The one actually in control at the palace is Old Bulldog. I'm just a figurehead to make the people feel better. Back in King Bulldog's day, 2 generations ago, times were poor, but we were rich in spirit. Sure was hard not having money to go around, though. And we see Bonnie rushing in. She's huffing. Who's the girl running around the church? She looks just as pretty as Ginny.
Aw.
Huh? Ginny? And,
My heart
that's funny.
hurts.
Even Kuma's like, huh, Ginny? But didn't even point out while she's running, Bonnie's been screaming, cardio, cardio, which works out anyway. But Bonnie turns around. She's like, why are you all so shocked? I have to be ready to go and see the horizon at sea with Daddy when I turn 10. Huh? Daddy? So I have to build up strength for it. Huh? Ah! She's looking in the mirror. She sees something she doesn't like. That was. Oh, wait. Wait, I'm confused. Anyway,
I think she
that was
doesn't
Bonnie?
realize she's older.
Oh, I see.
I think she just got her fruit off
Yeah.
screen and we don't know what's going on yet.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. That was Bonnie? What was that transformation? Did you eat a devil fruit? When? Wake up, Kumachi. And they're both just passed out on the floor.
So cute.
Hmm. Is this it? The HH fruit? Where did she try doing it with your mind? She just see her like powering up like in Dragon Ball Z, and she's like, "Get older, get
I love that
older."
she's actively trembling.
And Kuma's like, "Stop that, Bonnie! You're going to wear yourself out." King Kuma, please, Your Majesty, grant us an audience. And the guy is screaming. He's like, "Ah!" She turned into a wrinkled old bag. It really worked. She's hideous. It's, and you just see Bonnie off in the corner. He's like, "It's not working. It's too hard to get older."
So who is that? Just a random old lady?
I guess
That's
it's
that's I love that.
a fun
It
bit.
it is. It's so cute.
And, you see Bonnie going up to open the door, and she's like, "Who are you, Mister?" And in the background, you see Kuma with the other two holding the old lady still. You must be Princess Bonnie, then. My name is Bulldog. I'm something like an aide to your father. I have weighty matters to discuss. Sorbet Kingdom, former king, 2 gens ago, Bulldog. My mother is already here, I see. She's Connie. Oh, the one-time Queen Dowager. Dowager. That's definitely what Bonnie disguised herself as. Depending on
Okay.
everything, I think.
Yeah, I definitely she looks familiar and I was like, but that looks like Bonnie from that time. I get
Yeah,
it. It's a pretend is what they're doing.
they're being pretend. King Bakori's coming back. Look at the nonsense in this article. I'm certain Bakori set this up. I mean, really, seize the throne with violence by burning villages? He's trying to overthrow us from abroad. It means he has the world government on his side. Bakori will be back to take control. Mark my words. There's intel that he's preparing battleships. We can't have Bakori coming back here. He'll have us killed this time. And Kuma's saying, don't worry, he won't set a single toe within this country again. Whatever he tries to bring back with him, I'll drive it away. But once that happens, I'll be seen as a criminal. I won't be able to stay here anymore. Once that happens, I'll need you to be King Bulldog. Would you take Bonnie under your wing in that case? Even this church will be in danger. All right, I'll find her a place with the same conditions. And you see Bonnie made herself old. She's talking to Connie, and she's like, "I did it."
Bonnie's just freaking adorable.
Just so cute.
She really went from like one of the biggest sex symbols in One Piece to just adorable little
Uh-huh.
child. And it works so well. Like, you can't typically make that switch.
The next panel, Kuma's holding up Connie. He's like, Bonnie, be a good girl while I'm gone. I'll be back when I'm able. And you see Bulldog in the back. That's my mom. And here's Bonnie. You're leaving? I'll miss you. And then we cut to Kuma being out at sea in front of Bakori on a bunch of marine ships. That's him, Navy. Kill him. He's the man who stole Sorbet Kingdom from me. A true tyrant who's committed all manner of atrocities. Kill him now. I am the true king. And Kuma says, you were a fool to show your face around here again. And see some text boxes show up naturally. Kuma sank all the ships and fled to sea. A bounty was placed on his head, and through his pirate reputation and great strength, its value swelled over time. So there we go. Tyrant and a warlord in one fell swoop.
Wait, he's not a warlord yet.
Well, not yet, but his bounty's getting up there. I wish Daddy was here, and this is Bonnie talking to Connie. I want to see him again. I'm sorry, Bonnie, dear. Remember, Kuma's the hero who saved this land. I don't care. He's my daddy. Once I'm 10 and I'm all better, I'll be a pirate too. Don't do it, dear. I can turn into a grown-up. And, oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, check that out.
It's not Bowen Island. Is it Bowen Island, or is that where Heracles is?
Could not tell you.
Oh, I'm blanking on it. It might be Birdie Island.
Yes, it's Birdie Island.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so
And
Kuma has met the doctors who train Chopper in the time skip, which is great because then he sends Chopper there. So this is how he
Yeah.
knows of that location. That's
this is...
that. Just a little detail like that. Josue, what's up, my dude?
Oh, shout out to Josue. Let's go. All right. And you see Kuma holding up a little piece of paper to the natives. Have you ever seen this disease before? She can't be in sunlight? The poor thing. Then we go to the Muggy Kingdom. Oh, we see Abdullah and Jeet for some reason.
Oh my, yeah. What the hell are Abdullah and Jeet doing here?
Oh, they're after Kuma for his bounty. I spy a hot bounty. Aren't you both Bartholomew Kuma? I said that correctly. And it looks like this is where Frankie was sent to. I'm blanking on the name of it. It's where Vegapunk was born.
Egghead Island.
No.
Pretty
That's where we are
sure.
now. Okay, well, if you're sure.
Exactly, we're there now.
Okay. Your daughter has 5 years to live, at best. And then we see him at the bridge that Robin was sent to. She won't see her 10th birthday. And then we see him, I don't know where he is right after the bridge, but then we see him with, what's his name? Heraldus something? No, not that.
Heracles?
What's his name? He's at the, no, the Witheria Kingdom with the wizard that trained on.
I couldn't tell you.
I forget his name. But yeah, then we do see him with Heracles at the Boeing Island. I'm just going to commit to that. That's the Boeing Island. So he's getting all upset. But then we see him outside, or right next to a revolutionary ship. And they're saying, hey there. Oh, you. Hey there, Kuma. And we see two of the commanders and then one of their sub-commanders, the Humpty Dumpty one, with Morley and Bello Betty.
One second. Josue just sent in chat and then retracted the message. I'm not going to try and read it, but it was about Gear 5th. Dude, do you follow One Piece? Because we're
Josue.
big old One Piece fans up in this biznatch.
Do you think, is that Betty? Why is
It looks like Betty, but if she was Perona
Why-
and wearing Sabo's hat.
Right, that's what's throwing me off is Sabo's hat. Why does she have that? But
I mean, Betty also has a hat, but it's not Sabo's hat.
it's not Sabo's hat.
Well, they're gonna come back to that if that's anything more.
I'm sure, or it'll be in an SBS. I'm not worried about it. You know.
Yeah.
Eva and Inazuma were thrown in prison, and since I last saw you, you've been
Aw.
a king, a tyrant, and a pirate, eh? And they're all just chilling on his ship. Must have come as a surprise to you. This is Kuma saying this. Nobody in the Revolutionary Army took those articles seriously, of course. Hey, Kuma, can I be the captain of the Eastern Forces? Why ask me, Betty? Dragon says the position eternally belongs to Ginny until you give permission. Oh, I love that.
Aw.
So it takes a foul-mouthed woman to run the Eastern forces? I don't mind. Yay! Sabo?
This is a side of Betty we've never seen. She's so lighthearted here.
No. She's, I mean, younger here for sure. I'm sure that's helping with that. But yeah. Sabo, Qual, and the others want to see you too. We have many promising young members rising through the ranks. I want to show them off to you. And that's Dragon saying that. Kuma responds, I've seen what's happening around the world, and I often wondered what you would have done, Dragon. I want to return to the fold, but... Bonnie? As a matter of fact, I wanted to talk about her. You're aware of the Navy's scientist, Dr. Vegapunk, aren't you? After the recent accident, he's going to transfer to a new lab. Hmm? Ordinarily, he's kept under heavy security, but he's more approachable during the transition. Thank you, Dragon. In all honesty, I'd given it up for lost. I'll go and speak with him. If I can just cure Bonnie's disease, then I'd be happy to fight with you again. May the winds of fate guide us well, my friend. And that's
Oh
Dragon
my
saying that.
God.
So
That is
just teeing up.
Ugh! This is quite possibly the best backstory in One Piece. It's just
It's
tying
pretty
all these little
solid.
things together.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It's like answers we didn't need. Like, we didn't need to know that Kuma went to all those places that he sent the Straw Hats to. Like,
Not just
but he
that,
did.
I mean, like,
and it makes sense.
the next time, as far as I'm aware, Dragon and Kuma meet after this is in the Kamabaka Kingdom, where Kuma's a slave, and he's like, okay, Kuma, tell me everything that happened. Like, I thought he was under some
Well-
kind of secret mission, but I bet you he meets Vegapunk here, probably gets ambushed by Jay Garcia, and is, made to become a slave, but they'll cure the disease.
I could see that, but we still got flashback, baby.
We still got flashback, baby.
We cut to Bonnie punching somebody. She's like, yeah, and it looks like the guy that's on her crew, right?
I can't
pretty
tell
cool.
with his face all busted up like that.
Yeah, fair enough. But he's on the ground. He's saying, I was going easy on her. And Kuma's in the back saying, Bonnie, that was amazing. And she turns around. She's like, Daddy. And then we're cutting to Naval Science Division Laboratory 8, later known as Egghead.
Ah.
We're seeing a doctor to get a checkup before your disease is healed. So he just pawpawed them over here, I'm assuming.
Must have.
I've never seen a man like you before. And that's Vegapunk saying that, and Kuma's like, I was just thinking the same thing. Wow, look at his head. Gross. Funny. He's pulling a demon slayer. He put her in a little box.
I was gonna
It's like,
say, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, he put her in a box just like Nezuko and Demon Slayer shots. Demon Slayer. Anyway, what a body. You have to let me study your muscles. For science, of course. And that's your sickly daughter. Kind of a brat, eh? I don't mind a little lip, though. Sapphire's scales. You've done well to limit them for so long. She'll survive.
What?
She will. I'll use some medical tech that I've been holding back from the public market. You see,
Hey, Sentamaru.
Yeah, Sentamaru's playing with Bonnie. She's riding around on his axe. Just adorable. Anyway, Vegapunk goes on. Technically speaking, I'll be generating new stem cells and transplanting them. It's about as much work and cost as creating a cyborg. She'll turn into a cyborg? It'll cost as much, I said. So what is he holding? I don't know what he's holding there. Oh, he's probably looking at like results of like his body examination.
Something
Tell
like
me.
that.
Are you a buccaneer? Yes. You know I'm with the government, don't you? I trust Dragon wouldn't put me in danger. What makes my blood different than other people's? Well, I don't have enough of a sample size to explain. And it was like, you want to make clones of me? That's right. I've been looking for the right person to be the base for my clone soldiers. Just provide me with blood samples and permission to create clone soldiers, and I'll cover the entire immense cost of Bonnie's operation. You can't pay for it yourself, I assume.
Ooh. So this is where
I had a feeling.
pacifistas come from.
I had a feeling. I won't be declining the offer either way. But what will you do with them? All these soldiers that look just like me, will they be in the Navy? That's right. Tell me, do you like electromagnetic energy? You see, Sentamaru and Bonnie are still playing here. Very cute. Vegapunk is explaining more of this to Kuma. He's saying, when they see human beings shooting laser beams, those pirates will go mute with shock. They'll be laid low by the overwhelming power of science. My soldiers' bodies will be as hard as shields, deflecting bullets and saving the populace. They'll be heroes to the common man, the mighty warriors from the future. And then, and he keeps going on, but Kuma's just thinking to himself, he's an odd man, but true to his desires and trustworthy, saying what Dragon was probably said of him.
Mm-hmm.
That, that's what Dragon said about me. The nerve. Perhaps if clone soldiers based on me save other people's lives, then my own life will have meant something. Dragon's going to be furious about the terms. Well, I'm nothing but grateful to you both. I would make a deal with you to save Bonnie's life, even if you were the devil himself. Just tuck that away. Just save Bonnie. And Vegapunk saying, you're a true saint. And we're cutting to Sacred Mary Joa. Clone soldiers are weapons, and weapons are valued by how many they can kill. And this is Jay Garcia Saturn saying this. Vegapunk would let a golden opportunity slip through his fingers, but I have a plan to deal with this. As you say, my lord. We're back to Kuma and Vegapunk. A saint? No, I'm nothing like that. Just a weak-willed pacifist. Vegapunk's like, pep, 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 pep. I like that. I think I'll use it for the name of my future soldiers. Wink.
Oh,
That's the end of the chapter.
that's a good chapter.
That was a really good chapter.
This really is just like the greatest backstory. I mean, I really thought the Odin backstory secured it, but all this has done is prove me wrong on that, while also hyping up the God Valley backstory. All we know is that's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm loving that Jay Garcia is involved here, and I don't think he's a random who you would call it Gorosei member that they picked. So are you familiar with his devil fruit power?
I know he's the science guy, so it's not super weird that he's involved.
Well, I forget what his actual fruit is, but it's a cow spider hybrid that's a Japanese monster demon.
Yeah, it's a yokai that you can't really look at, right?
Yeah. He can deal damage directly by looking at you, but he's also known, the monster, for being able to inflict obscure diseases on people, which is definitely what's been inflicted on Bonnie. And do you know what the gem representing Saturn is?
It's a sapphire. Yeah, I've heard of
Blue
this.
sapphire. No, I wanted to say it.
No, because you're not. No, I'm kidding.
But I've
heard this theory.
So the fact that
That's
it's
neat.
blue sapphires, he's here. We know Bonnie's mom was raped by a celestial dragon. I think she's staring down her biological father and mom's rapist in the present timeline.
I could see that, and I know that theory's pretty popular. I forget what I read somewhere that kind of disproved that he would have been that that sapphire blue sapphire connection is the thing, but I forget what it was. But there's something that was like, maybe it's not it, but I can totally see Oda just leaping over that and just saying, no, this is what happened, you know?
I'm not, like, if it's not true, I'm fine. I'm not dying on this hill. I'm too busy dying on the raid will still fail hill.
Right.
But I see a lot of evidence for it, and I'm really rooting for it.
It's a solid theory.
Even if he's not the biological father, even if he's not the rapist, at the very least, I'm convinced he inflicted the disease upon her. You know, maybe the Gorosei were like, you know what? You can't have a regular human wife. You're sick and dying now. You know, we can't have any half-breeds running around. So even if he's not the original, he's definitely where that disease came from in my mind.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, because you got that in the white scales. There's a lot of stuff that we don't really know about as far as diseases go in this world, so...
Also, loving the origin story of the pacifistas actually being designed to instill peace in the world. Like, you know, here we obviously have the Gorosei like, no, they're not just going to be peaceful. We're going to eradicate our enemies. But, man, so finally their name makes sense. Clones of him makes sense. All the little things we got this chapter, seeing Dragon interact with Kuma, seeing the captain, seeing all the places Kuma went in the time skip, or sent the Straw Hats to, rather. God, why did he go to Tequila Wolf though?
That's a
Like,
really good
he goes
question.
to Birdie because those guys are good scientists. You know, he goes
They're good.
to, I forget, like Proto Egghead, whatever that place is called, because that's, you know, notoriously scientific. Heracles has all kinds of plants and maybe medicines. With area full of scientists, Tequila Wolf is just a bridge.
It's
Like,
just a bunch of slaves working on a bridge.
I can't wait to see what happens with Tequila Wolf because we really did go there once. Say, yeah, we
Yeah.
don't know why we're building this bridge, but we've been doing it 800 years or something.
We're certainly building it, yeah.
And then we just walked away. It's never been referenced again until right now. And I can't wait to find out what the deal with Tequila Wolf is because I don't think the destination's important. I think it's, you know, more why the bridge is being built in the first place.
Yeah. I wondered too, just thinking about the other ones. I mean, he did show up at the Monkey Kingdom. I'm a little curious about that one. I don't know why that was there, but I'm sure there's a reason.
Um, I wonder if that's the Muggy Kingdom before it fell to Mihawk. Like if this
It
is
is.
back when it's populated.
I'm pretty sure it is.
That'd be cool.
'Cause he didn't show up there until like probably a little bit before the time skip, if I remember correctly.
But well, that's actually kind of bugging me now. Why are we seeing the Muggy Kingdom? Obviously, that's where he sends Zoro to train with Mihawk. But if Mihawk's not there yet, you know, that location doesn't actually hold anything special like these other ones do. Like the other ones stay the same until Straw Hats arrive. The Muggy Kingdom falls and then Mihawk shows up. I feel like we could have sent
Yeah.
him literally anywhere to train with Mihawk.
Yeah, I don't know. There's because he also sent Perona there, and there's got to be something more there. Maybe doesn't have to be. I'm just curious about it.
Can we get
They
the
showed
Muggy
it here.
Kingdom flashback?
Dude,
Quick shout out to my boys Abdullah and Jeet showing up.
really just kind of came out of left field, didn't they?
And they disappeared as quickly as they arrived. But of all the characters ever, I did not expect to see them again.
Yeah,
I'm
for
almost
real.
sad they're not part of the Grand Fleet. They were so great on Moosey.
When they got hit off the.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
show up and kill the clone Dofi. Like, they pulled their
Yeah.
weight. They were charming
They
enough.
helped. Yeah.
Enjoyed
No,
them
they're
thoroughly. Love Queen Connie Dowager or whatever. Put those words in the right order. And Bonnie looking like her. Like the entire thing of Kid Bonnie trying to use her
That was
power.
such a great bit. Just them switching back and forth, like, oh, this is Bonnie. No, that's my mom.
The
It's great.
oh my god, she turned into a wrinkled old bag. She's hideous.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
really
trying
good
to
stuff.
power up to use it. What I want to know is when and where did she eat the devil fruit though? Like that's not typically just something that shows up. Josue, I cannot recommend enough that you sit down, you read One Piece beginning to end. This is a modern day epic, quite possibly the greatest tale told in our generation.
Makes me laugh.
There
Makes
is
me laugh,
so
too.
much going on. You are getting some major spoilers at this point. Like a lot of these characters don't get introduced for hundreds of chapters, and they don't even get explored for hundreds of more chapters. I super recommend checking it out on Viz or watching the One Piece anime or One Piece, but definitely get into this series. It's amazing. Okay, so we have Kuma. He's the king of the Sorbet Kingdom. He's classified as a tyrant by the former king, you know, and they go to stop him. He stops them, and then he has to commit to a life of crime and piracy.
Yeah.
At what point does he become a warlord? Like, I thought, you know, the government's going to offer to cure Bonnie, but he becomes a warlord in exchange or something, and then he has to sell his soul to Vegapunk. But, I mean, like, we have Bonnie being cured. We know where the pacifistas come from. At what point does he have to give up his sentience and become a slave? Like,
See, that's the kicker because we have the pacifistas here. We
I
don't know
really, I
how.
yeah, no, I thought the pacifistas would be as a result of his slavery, but that was a voluntary
Yeah,
action. So what the hell's going
that part
on?
was. Maybe it had what Jay Garcia Saturn is about to pull.
I mean, obviously it's related to that, but like, how?
Right, that's the real question.
Like, what is he about to do? It's got to be threatening Bonnie's life, or the revolutionaries, or something. His home country. Like, he's gonna have to lay down his life for this. But we know modern day, whatever it is, he doesn't want Bonnie to know. You know, he sealed that away, and she was never supposed to find out. God, this really is the greatest backstory. Just all these little threads. Bonnie was probably bottomer of the list on my Supernova's worst generation members. But ever since she showed up in Egghead, like, she has just taken off in popularity with me.
That's
Freaking
been like every supernova that showed up, just and has an arc with the straw hats. Like it's just, I mean, okay, that's not necessarily true because I liked Law and Kid from the beginning, but like when they
I
show up and we got more of them, I like them.
I'm okay with Kid. I don't hate Kid. Obviously I love Law. Hawkins a little disappointing. I like
That's
Drake,
fair.
but that's mainly his backstory. Quite possibly my favorite introduction was Apu, and then everything he's done since then is just worse. Like,
I liked him being a shit stain in Wano though. That was a lot of fun.
I was so upset with how they played him in Wano. And then, like, when he was forming the alliance with Hawkins and Kid, I was like, that's gonna be cool. And then when he betrays him, I'm like, that's cool. And then, like, you're right, he's a shit stain. And I was like, you just kind of suck. And then he's planning whatever he's planning with the numbers, and I was like, oh, he might get to do something. And then we're just, no, moving on.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
yeah,
bet you that comes back, but
it'll
I
come back for sure. I don't think we're done with the numbers in Apu.
oh, no, no, no. Not especially if they're like based off the actual people they appear to be
Ancient.
based off of. Not with
Right.
the ancient giant race, not with Apu literally not doing anything.
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't write him as a supernova, make him a shit stained background character, and then give him something really cool, and then just forget about it to follow through on.
Yeah.
Nah,
I'm
they're
sure we'll
coming
get back to
back.
that.
I'm holding out hope, but I don't disagree with everyone that he's the worst one so far.
He's certainly it's weird because we've seen so little of Urog, but like he might be the more he might be a little bit more interesting to me than Apu is.
I
But
fucking love. I've always called him a rouge. Is it Urogue?
that's just how I've always called it. I've heard
Okay.
other people say Uroj. I really
Anywho,
don't know, honestly. I need to
well,
watch the
it's
dub, see
it's
what they say
spelled
there.
either way. I think it's a rouge in the dub.
Oh, if
Uh,
that's the case, I'll just go off
I've
that.
always loved him. Obviously, he's a fallen angel, smiling. He's a mad monk. Directly going to be tied to Joy Boy, guaranteeing that. That seems a little too obvious.
Mm,
I love.
mm,
Wait, you don't buy that?
not really.
We've seen him stop smiling. He's choosing to smile 100% of the time, a la Joy Boy. We know he's
Mm,
a Sky. Well, I guess not a Skypean. We know he's a Birkin, and we
he's
know.
from Sky Island. Yeah,
Yeah, no, we know they are aware of Nika up there.
yeah, that's true.
Like, I think he's Nika, or not Nika. I think he's
Wow, he's
yeah,
Nika, huh?
getting that Nika reveal. No,
Wow,
he's
you heard it
direct.
here first.
The whole thing about a mad monk, a fallen priest. The priest he probably fell
Mm,
from was Anel, who he wouldn't call God. I'm assuming something along those lines.
maybe,
Uh,
yeah, I
I'm
can see that.
definitely thinking he's a devout worshiper of Nika, and he's going to find Nika in Luffy.
Was he smiling when Kaido was about to jump off the Sky Island? I don't recall
Uh,
him smiling
I
there.
think, but man, I didn't pay that close attention. Haven't rewatched it or read it recently, but very possibly.
I'll
The one
investigate. I
time
know
I
what
remember
chapter.
him definitely not smiling is when I think he got kicked by Kizaru or something. He was definitely attacked. Maybe he was bit by Drake. He took damage, and at that point, he winced.
Gotcha. I
Uh
will say
huh.
he has like one of my just a really cool off-screen feat. He was able to take down the strongest of Big Mom's Sweet Commanders,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
maybe not the strongest, but like one of the strongest for sure.
He took down a sweet commander regardless of their
Which
rank.
is right. Regardless, that's huge. You know.
Um, but yeah, so just another thing I want to point out with a rouge. So there's this what thread I've been following where all the false gods tend to have their their hierarchy of subordinates. You have Enel on Sky Island with his four priests. You have one priest, Satari, killed immediately in the first interaction, and then we go up against three priests. Okay, allegedly, fifth priest in a rouge quit before the conflict happens. He's not actually a fighter. Then we move on. We get Doflamingo, another like celestial dragon, false god type figure, who's got
Hmm.
his guys. One of whom, Virgo, is killed before the actual combat happens. One of whom in Corazon quit before the actual combat happens, and then you've got three that are around at the time of the final showdown. Now we've got Emu and the Gorosei, one of whom is gotta die before the actual conflict happens. We got Jay Garcia right here, one of whom we expect to quit. I don't remember which one he is, but he's the youngest looking of the Gorosei, the only one with like not gray hair or bald.
Who's
And
expecting him to quit?
I'm gonna. What's his name? He
That seems
looks
like a stretch.
kind of like Putin. Not quit necessarily, but betray, work against, not side with when the final conflict comes. Every other
Hmm.
false god equivalency has had five subordinates. One leaves, one dies, and then there's three to fight at the time of the final battle. So Garcia dies. I think it's Jupiter is the one who kind of
Okay.
looks like your first girlfriend's dad. Not you
I don't
specifically, but
remember.
that's what I'm
No,
going
I know
for.
what you mean.
Yeah, I think he, quits, betrays, is killed by them, some kind of thing where he's just not on their side. And then we have the rest of them to we have Mars, Venus, and who the hell else is left? Mercury? Mercury. Yeah, that is my prediction. Is long story short, Arush's existence means Garcia Saturn dies here. Confirmed. Are you doing a Google?
So wait, which of NL's priests died?
Satari. They
Where
say
did we see that?
okay, look, it doesn't need to be dead, but like eliminated from the story before we actually go all out on the boss fight.
You could say that about all of his priests, though.
No, like every other priest gets a 1v1 matchup. Saturi goes, takes Luffy, Sanji, Usopp, and is erased before we even get anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm still struggling to find the connection between these, but all right.
it's just like Virgo. It's, does he fight law? Yes, like he exists in the story, but he is eliminated before it's time to go mess with Doflamingo. Look,
Yeah,
and
I don't
now
know.
we
This
got
feels like
Jay
a stretch.
Garcia getting set up to be immediately knocked down before we actually have a big fight with an Emu. Like, the false gods have their five subordinates that seem to follow this pattern. If Jay Garcia loses here, is killed here, defeated here, off screened here for the rest of eternity, then I highly suspect we will see a seditious act from likely Jupiter.
Okay, but NL only has four priests.
That's where a Rouge comes in. A Rouge is the priest who left.
So then who's the fifth for Dofi? Who are the five for Dofi? You got the three in the seats, but the heart seat's empty.
Corazon. Corazon left. That was like a whole thing.
Hmm.
And then Virgo dies. And then there's
Virgo
three at
dies.
the time of the final conflict.
What? Who's the third? Because Isn't no, because the seats are Diamante, Treble, okay, and Pica. All right, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. No, you can count. You're tracking.
I'm getting there.
You
I
always
don't know.
have
It still feels like a
three. You
stretch.
have one die, and you have one who quits, leaves, abandons, something along those lines. It's
Except then I was
just a
pretty sure
pattern.
all alive.
Off screen slammed. Listen, stop poking holes in this. There is a pattern here.
It
I'm
feels
getting
like
a.
a forced narrative. That's
It's
all I'm
not a
saying.
forced narrative. It's you got a god, a false god at the top. He's got the five priests, and every time this pattern shows up, we see a very specific set of actions occur. You're gonna be wiping. No,
What am I gonna do?
I'm gonna wipe your ass with this theory when you have to come back and apologize to me. Your ass is gonna get so wiped.
Listen, I'm
Just
not saying any of this to like say that what you're saying will happen with the godheads won't happen, but like it seems like a forced narrative, like a
it's
forced parallel.
literally it's every time there is a false god, their subordinates follow this specific set of actions. By the end of the
All
series,
twice.
all twice, and it's getting set up to be a third time.
I don't know. It feels like a stretch saying it's happened twice. There's so different circumstances.
I disagree with you strongly. This is foreshadowing done by Oda, and you're gonna have to eat your words when we figure out Arush's backstory.
Okay.
I'm holding you to that.
Just saying.
What is this? 11:26. I am going to remember this, and I'm gonna make one hell of a short out of it.
All's I'm saying.
Uh huh.
All's I'm saying. You're doing a lot of mental gymnastics to make these two instances that have happened before line up. That's all
That
I'm
is,
saying.
look, that's an untruth. Do you have to connect some dots? Yes, but that's any theory.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Huh.
valid. I just
It is
know Oda doesn't
Jupiter. I was
necessarily
right.
do all that.
Listen, listen, listen.
Listen, listen, listen.
You're going to get REKT when this theory is confirmed. Like, look at the gore say, elderly white man, or elderly man, white hair, elderly man, white hair, elderly man, white hair, elderly man, admittedly bald, and then significantly younger guy dresses in a different style to the rest of them and doesn't have white in his hair. He's the odd one out. He literally just doesn't fit in here. Saturn's about to get off screen, or not off screened, but eliminated, and then we're down to three, just like every other day of the week.
Uh, if you say so.
When this happens, and we're reading that chapter live where Jupiter quits, kills, is eliminated, excuses himself, I'm going to laugh so hard at you. I cannot wait to shove this in your face. Just so you know.
Mm.
I think that's everything I've got to say about the chapter, though. I kind of dominated there. You have any additional thoughts?
Aside from your theory being a little crock, um,
Well, guys, his mic is turned off now, so he can't do anything about that. Nope, they can't hear you out.
yeah,
Okay, your mic's back on. You learned your lesson.
hear me out.
Hearing you out.
I'm just quickly perusing through the chapter. We've covered most of what I any other remaining thoughts I might have. Um, my mind does wander. You know, it's not a huge focus of this chapter, but it is something in the back of my head. You know, like we see why he went to all those different places, and then as a result, why he sent the Straw Hats to all those different places. But it makes me wonder the places that we didn't necessarily see, like why he sent Luffy to Amazon Lily. Like I think we can connect the dots as to why he sent Sanji to the Kalambaka Kingdom. But it's just something in the
No,
back of my head. I'm just mulling over.
I saw a
That's all.
thing about why he was sent to Amazon Lily, and there was a theory that he was sent there to kind of learn hockey from them because he knew
Yeah.
like he'd be strong enough to survive, but they'd attack him, and his only chance of survival was to do what Nika does and just turn enemies into allies.
Hmm.
It was something along those lines. There was a lot more evidence for it, but it wasn't just random. It's a place he knew where he could go to be safe from the world government, but
Right. Well,
still train.
that was the theory I did see, was that Rayleigh and Akuma were like, let's do this. So then he goes there, and then once that's all
Hmm.
settled, you can go there and train him and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Again, he also
I
like
think that
directly
lines up the
knew
nicest.
Rayleigh was involved with Lily and could get there. That was
Right.
another piece of evidence.
So, and I can see that lines up really nicely, honestly. So I wouldn't even be mad if that's all it is. And then only other thing I have to mention is that we got a big 1100, chapter 1100,
Oh yeah,
1100 next week.
that is going to be
Or
a
let
big
me,
one.
every chapter, most chapters that end, on 100 have had something big happen. So
Oh man,
just saying.
I don't know. That feels like a stretch. I feel like you're just making things up now. Like big things happen a lot of chapters. Okay, it's
Yeah.
every the first 100 chapter he dies off screen. The third 100 chapter quits, and then it's every fifth 100
And
chapter is
then
where the big
fifth
things
100
happen.
chapter, the
Yeah,
big, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah. Jupiter joins the Straw Hats.
Peter joins the Straw Hats, betrays the Gorosei because he also wants freedom. Anyway, um, I'm just saying. I'm just keep in the back of your heads. It doesn't happen every 100 chapters. Like I think the one that happens at the end of Whole Cake shows the thousand sunny being sunk, and I was like, okay, we know it's not sunk, but okay. But other
Um,
than that, every other chapter that ends on 100 has been pretty big. So
I have no doubt next week's is going to be big because, like you said, it's the 100 chapter thing, plus Kuma's backstory. Plus, we're definitely
mhm.
nearing the end, at least of the Kuma part of it. We've gotten to Vegapunk. We're going to cure Bonnie. Everything's looking really good at the moment. It is time for tragedy to strike.
I think this is my theory for next chapter. I think we'll get. Oh, by the way, I pulled up the chapter where Kaido jumps off of the Sky Island,
Uh
and
huh.
there is a panel where Uroj is just praying, and he just says Amen, and it's just a straight face. But that really isn't anything. But point being, what was I saying? Oh, I think we get the end of Kuma's flashback here next week. I think Jay Garcia puts his ploy into action. We see what that happens, how that results, and then
Mm-hmm.
like the last like 2 pages is when Kuma shows up to Egghead.
I suspect something along those lines too. Like, I think we're coming close to the end of the Kuma flashback, I'll call it. I
Hmm.
don't know that, we aren't going to have more of a Bonnie flashback after this where it continues. But I'd be perfectly fine if it ends and then, last 2 pages, like I said, Kuma shows up.
Yeah.
I think it might take another chapter or two to really flesh out the tragedy here. Like, I mean, the Odin flashback didn't die with, or didn't end with just Odin dying. It took another like two
Yeah.
chapters.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
I think we're about to get hit with tragedy. Perfectly fine if we snap back to reality. Whoops, there goes spaghetti.
Oh, there goes spaghetti.
But I think we're going to be in the flashback at least a couple more chapters. However, I expect the bulk of the tragedy to come next week, and I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, I think if we don't leave the tragedy or the backstory next week, we'll get some big truth bombs, some big revelations
Oh
next
yeah,
week.
no, a lot of stuff is going to happen, guaranteed in the imminent future. But that's gonna, I think, be it for today in our review of chapter 1099. Guys, be sure to check back in for 1100 next week. Josue, just read all 1100 chapters over the span of a week. I'm sure that's physically possible.
That's your homework.
That's your homework.
It's not.
The test is on chapters 1 to 1100.
Yeah, you can name every cover story.
Oh my god,
Um,
the cover stories. I need a
they're
new
all great.
cover story. We haven't had a cover story in a while, and I'm not
What was the
okay with
last
it.
cover story? The last cover story was the German double six one, right?
Yes. And that one just kind of abruptly ended.
Well, the reforming of Mads. I don't know if that was super abrupt.
Oh, I forgot Mads reformed.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it started as German double six escaping
Yeah.
whole cake, so
No,
there
it
is a
really
bit of
it,
a. It
it
takes a
took a
bit to
lot
get
of
there.
turns.
1078. Has it really only been since
Really?
1078? Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know.
I
I
take it
feel like
back. That's more recent than I thought. I
if
mean,
Oda has other
that's
stuff he wants to fill out on a cover story, he'll start one sooner rather than
he
later.
will.
But
He's not going to hold off and he's not going to do them frivolously. They always serve a purpose.
The one
But
before that was Ing Beges on My Family that ended in 994. So it might actually be a little bit till we get another one.
I
Well, hold
love
on.
that time you like.
1055.
I told you I didn't think Pound was dead, and you were like, "No, he's dead, confirmed." And then like a week later, it's confirmed that he's not dead. And I was like, "I
That
knew
was
it."
me
I really,
falling for Oda.
I
That's what it was.
am so convinced that Oda started off writing characters who didn't die, just because his excuse of the good guy got away at the last second or whatever. But I
Yeah.
think at this point he is leaning into the will of P, where if your name starts with the letter P, you're just fine. Like he
Yeah.
does it
That's what
too
I
often
think it
for
is.
it to be a coincidence anymore.
It's happened 3 times, all right? It's not a coincidence anymore.
No, like
Twice, that's one thing.
no,
Coincidence.
you're not
3 times,
like one time that's a character. Twice there's a little bit of a pattern, and I think that's about when people started saying the will of P. The fact that it's
it
happened
is.
3 times is, I think Oda heard will of P and was like, "Yep, you can't die if you have
Just
the letter P."
just
I
buy into it. Let's just go.
I think like I think he's just leaning into it, and I love it. I mean, I hate
Here's
it.
the
I
thing.
hate the will of P, but I love that Oda recognizes the will of P
All
in my
right,
head
theory.
canon.
Theory. Papa Goo's gonna get a fake out death. Heard it here first. Heard it here first. Fuck you, Starfish. Anyway, I love Papa Goo.
Oh, Papago. I was definitely thinking, what's his name? The papaya man from Sky Island, Conus's
Oh,
dad.
Pagaya? No,
Pagaya.
he's
Yeah.
already been Willipede.
Yeah, no, and I was like, oh, real heavy prediction. It's already happened.
It's
Dude, I'd
already
be
happened. Yeah.
so fine if like Papago gets a fake out death. That would solidify the will of P for me.
Just like tear off one of. Oh wait, no. Have we done the bit with him yet, where they tear off one of his limbs and it grows back? Have we done that yet with
I
him?
don't think so.
Okay.
Just
Well, just give
dismember
me
him.
ideas, Oda.
Just rip him to shreds, and now there's 5 Papagoos.
or put him on a desk and dry him up like in SpongeBob.
And then just rehydrate him.
Just rehydrate him.
I
Yeah.
mean, he already spent like an entire so many chapters on land, so yeah, I bet you drying out's a real concern for him.
Oh sure, totally. I can see it. We're way off topic.
No, I keep trying to give an outro, and you're just like, let's talk about
All right,
Papagoo.
let's topic. What's not to talk about?
Dude,
Get us out of here.
next week when we have, or not next week, next time we have no stream content to do, let's just do a Papagoo stream.
I'm down. I love Papa Goo.
Just 100% deep dive Papagoo, everything we can find about him. Anyway,
Yeah.
guys, that's going to be it for this week. That was chapter 1099. Obviously, a lot of good reactions, a lot of good panels, a lot of good things coming next week. See you Monday. Heck yeah, we're going to be back here with some Divinity. Divinity.
Original Sin.
Yeah, I just didn't have a way to finish that sentence. Still hungover, still sick. We'll be back then. And then what? We'll be back Thursday with some more gameplay. Maybe a little something else going on there. We'll see what
Little
happens.
something. We'll
And I
see what
intend
happens.
to be back next weekend doing some more of that Nuzlocke I've gotten into there recently. But until then, guys, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Don't be afraid to leave a like, a comment, and become a subscribing dibbler today. Until then, we'll catch you next time. God didn't come for Pokemon. I don't know what that means.
God didn't come for Pokemon.
I might have to put that on a t-shirt.